Hey there, it's Linda Perry of Soul Genius Branding, and welcome to this week's 15 Minutes to Genius. So this week I want to ask you an important question. Are you charging enough? So that's a common question I get asked by clients. How much should I be charging? Or, in this mastermind, it's a question that I see almost weekly. What do you charge for this? Or how much should I be charging? So it's often a question that creates some confusion and also brings up a lot of self-worth issues because we aren't sure, especially if we're just starting out, are we worth it? And as we go along, it can be really hard to break our patterns because we've been successful with our pricing. So you get a little nervous. What's going to happen if I increase my price? Am I going to lose customers? So this week I wanted to talk about how you can actually really look at your pricing and determine what you should be charging. So often in every industry out there, there is some place that you can get information. So for example, I am a copywriter and there are so many people out there willing to share what they actually charge. There's actually a few websites that tell me how much I should be charging for this piece of writing for X number of years in, business. And for example, I also work with a lot of wellness people and life coaches. And so over the years, I've started to gather data by looking at what people charge depending on how long they've been out there or the clientele that they serve. But one of the things I want you to really look at this week, because we get caught up in this, should I charge by the hour? Should I really be charging flat fees? What's really the gold standard? And I think what happens is that if we can actually look at the value we're giving someone, it makes it so much easier to price it out. So sure, maybe I can do this, sales page or website page or blog in 2 hours, but what's the actual value of it to my customer? Looking at it from that perspective makes it so much easier to set pricing that is really in line with who I am, how long I've been out there, and what I can do for someone. And so it doesn't mean that that has to be the same for whatever business, but if you're in a wellness business or an attorney who charges by the hour, the truth is your value that you're giving somebody is where you should start. So this week, take a look at your pricing. How are you charging? Do you know what everybody out there is charging? Don't be afraid to ask. For example, if you are a life coach out there and you know some other coaches, don't be afraid to ask how they're doing it. Oftentimes, I recommend in those situations to look at it, create your own packages, and stick with it. The other thing is once you've sort of done your research, you can ask people, you can see if there's any sort of information on the internet that people actually give when it comes to your particular industry. Whether it's a wellness industry, whether it's financial, whether it's an attorney, take a look at what is standard for your area, especially if that's where you're serving them. Now, if you're serving on a broader basis, really consider where your audience lives. But always check it against the value. Don't forget to do that, because when you recognize the value that you're giving someone, it makes it so much easier to charge your full worth. So that's my tip for this week. Really take some time this week, really every day, check in with your pricing. Look at some new angle of it. Really look at all of your offerings and check to see, when's the last time you actually increased your prices? And if it's a little uncomfortable, that's okay. That means you're pushing your boundaries. And if you're actually working too much, definitely a sign that your pricing is too low. So it may be time to increase your pricing, have a few less clients, and really not be so insane. So that's my tip for this week, and I'd love to hear how you feel about your pricing. Are you about right, too high, too low? Please share my Facebook feed, my Instagram. I'd love to hear from you. And welcome to 15 Minutes to Genius. If this is your first time joining us, 15 Minutes to Genius are weekly tips that I send out via video that help you grow your business one step at a time. Instead of always feeling like you're in overwhelm, 15 Minutes to Genius can help you take those little steps that can help you grow big. All right, so I will see you next week, and I can't wait to hear what you have to share about pricing.